Hi everyone, Dr. Jeff here with you this week with co-op student Megan.
So Dr. Jeff, what's our topic this week?
This week we're going to actually talk about the proper bike seat height on your bike. Biking is becoming very popular. Just ask any bike shop in town that when you go and try and buy a bike, they're pretty well sold out. And we want to talk about getting that right, you want the right height for your bike, but we also want to make sure we get the right seat height for your bike. I see people biking out there and majority are too low. Their knees are kind of way up like this, and some people are too high and they can't even reach the pedals on their bike. Other people are biking with their knees kind of going out like this, and this could all lead to knee issues. And we want to avoid knee issues when you're biking, because a lot of times when you go for physiotherapy, for rehab, for different injuries, one of the first things they do is you push you on the bike because there's low impact to try and heal up different sprains and strains. So we want to make sure we get you biking properly. So Megan, what happens if you don't have the seat at the right height on your bike?
Well, if the seat is too low, you might get some pain here in the patella area. So if you're getting some pain there, you might want to look at your bike seat and know that it's too low. If it's at the back of the knee, it might actually be too high. Or as Dr. Jeff was talking about before, if maybe your toe is pointed out, or you're kind of biking like this, not straight, then you might get some pain in the inside or outside of that knee.
So along with the height of your seat, we also want to make sure the seat is forward or backwards. A lot of your more expensive bikes, you can move the seat forward and backwards, and that can change the angle that your leg is coming down at. So that's another thing to check. The other thing is a lot of more expensive bikes now will have cleated shoes that you put in. And depending on where you cleat your shoe in, that can upset the balance of your knee as well. If you're someone who has a tendency to walk with your toes out or toes in, or one toes out or one toes in, and you put your cleat in your shoe and you're cleaning them in the opposite way, you're cleaning them straight, that can put abnormal strain on your knee as well, because you're not used to using your knee in that way, and that can lead to issues as well. The other thing with the cleats is you can actually move the cleats front and back on the shoes. And the majority of people have the cleats too far forward, and again, that's going to force your shin to do more of the work instead of your knee and your quads and your hamstrings. So I want to make sure those cleats are in the right place on the shoes.
So step one to finding the correct seat height is making sure that your seat is level, and we'll show you that in a couple minutes.
And there's a couple different ways you can go about making sure the seat is the proper height, the way you can kind of measure it out. One way is we call it as a flat heel method. What that is when you're sitting on your seat, is putting your heel flat on the pedal and making sure your pedal is down at the 6 o'clock position, so at the very bottom. And your knees should pretty well be locked out, and we'll show you how to go about doing that.
And the second way is called the inseam method. So the first step to the inseam method is actually measuring your inseam. So we're going to see Dr. Jeff here. You're going to get a book, and you're going to put it pretty tight up into your crotch, and then have it flush against the wall. And then I'm going to go in here and mark the top of the book like so. And then as Dr. Jeff steps away, I'll grab a tape measure, and we put it up towards the mark, and we see here it's about 82 centimeters. And we'll show you in a couple of minutes how you can use your inseam measurement to find the correct bike seat height.
So one of the first things we want to do to get your bike going is make sure the bike seat is level. So you have a level here. So you put this on and we can see that the bubble is pretty well in the middle. So that means our bike seat is level. So that's step one. So one of the easiest ways to kind of start to make sure your bike seat is the right height, just kind of stand beside your bike and get your hip pointer, your greater trochanter there, kind of by your seat. And that's a good way to kind of start to give you a basic idea of where your bike seat should be. And we'll move on to a couple different ways of measuring it. So with the heel method, one thing to look at is when you're sitting in your seat, you should be able to kind of get your toes on the ground. This one here, put your heel flat on the pedal. And if you're flat on the pedal with the straight down, your ankle or your knee should be perfectly straight, which mine seems to be. So this must be about the right height for me on this bike seat. As we talked about earlier, one way to measure your bike is to use your inseam measurements, which we did, and I found that my inseam was about 72 inches. So if we take it was 82 inches, and if you take 0.883 of that, you get 72.5 inches. So if you take your tape measure and you go up from the middle of the crank here, and you go up and follow the tube here, if you go up to the bike seat, for me it should be about 72.5 centimeters, and that's kind of what it is. So my bike seat is kind of sitting exactly where it's supposed to be. The other way of doing it is to take 1.09 of that, which is kind of comes out to like 89 centimeters. And if we do that from the pedal, if the pedal is in line with this, and we go up here, we come up, and again, that's what it comes up with my seat height. So that's the inseam method of checking a bike seat. So another thing we want to check is the placement of the seat forward and backwards. Some bikes will allow you to move the seat forward and backwards, and that can affect the angle going down with your leg, and it can affect knee pain as well. So you want to check this going forward and backwards. So we're going to use a plumb line for that. So one way to test this is to take a plumb line and put it on the front of your knee, and it should be going down to the front of your pedal, which mine seems to be pretty close to. So my seat is kind of the right spot forward to backwards. So I hope that was very helpful in finding the right bike seat height for you and trying to make biking a more enjoyable activity for you, so it doesn't impact on your knees and give you some sore knees. If you have any questions about anything we talked about regarding your bike seat height or movement on your bike seat, you can always email us at jgoldsworthy@goalswellness.com, or you can talk to us on Facebook. If you have any other topics out there you'd like us to talk to you about, you can always send them to us as well. And as always, I'm Dr. Jeff with co-op student Megan. If you like our video, make sure you like it or share it. And as always, we got you back. Sitting on your, oops, guess we'll retake that.
It's level. I don't know where that came from.
I don't know either. So next we're going to talk a little bit about, what are we talking about this week, Megan?
We're talking about, we didn't say that we were going to do that.